We condemn any form of abduction of those people who seek asylum in our country. Kenya is a country that respects its obligations. And we want to call upon the government not to deport those people who are seeking asylum in our country. They should abide by international law that requires them to respect the law. And so, in relation to that matter, we take exception, and as a commission, working in liaison with other human rights institutions, especially our sister commission in Uganda, we will get in touch so that we see how we can ensure our region is compliant in terms of human rights obligations. So, see you.
You can swap positions.
Respond to the question raised by Leonard, whether we have experienced an increase in terms of the percentage of the human rights violations. When you look at the statistics that have been provided in this discussion, and especially in 2023 demonstrations, and also 2024 GNC demonstrations, we can conclude as a commission that the numbers have actually increased. And if we have to compute that into percentage, maybe we need a minute or so, but the bottom line is that there is an increase in terms of those violations, and especially within the period of 18 months. That is quite a high figure, which has been read by the Vice Chair of the Commission.
I would like to attempt to respond to the question on boys and men. The sexual and gender-based violence space in Kenya is on our radar as a commission. We have observed, like we said, femicide. We also observed that during the demonstrations, there were targeted groups, including targeted groups that were sexually profiled. For example, we noted young women being thrown into police vehicles without dignity that is required. But on the question of men and boys, the commission is on course. They are members of a committee set up by the set up by the CJ, the Chief Justice, to review laws, policies, and regulations on gender-based and sexual violence. This review that is ongoing has noted with concern the issues of boys and men. They have particularly noted issues of sodomy. They have noted issue of exploitation of young men. And this is considered in the amendments that will come up in the Sexual Offences Act. They have also considered that the Sexual Offences Act is strong on women as victims, but not as much as men as victims. And this is also being considered. Issues of sodomy in organized groups, during demonstrations, and other disruptions in societies are noted and on our radar. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think there are...
Okay, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to respond to a question by Kitonga. Yes, whether there's a link between the abductions and politics. For us as a commission, our answer is very brief, that there's no link, because those who have been abducted and those who have been arrested do not necessarily have even political interest. So for us, we say there's no link. Totally. Thank you.
I want to say as a commission we are concerned. We have been raising concerns over this matter, and we will continue raising concerns and ensuring that this matter is addressed by the relevant authorities. So it's an issue which we will continue pushing so that it can be resolved. It's a matter that can even be declared as a national disaster because our women and the girls are suffering. So it's a matter of concern to us as a commission. Any other question?
Yes, I think we have one more. Any other person? We have one here? Two. Okay, we can take those two. Yeah, go ahead.
My name is Benson Isaboke. I represent UDPK. My question goes to concerning persons with disability. During demonstration, we saw a rampant way of persons with disability have been handled, thrown to cars, and also we realized there were some deaths. So from your report, do you have some of the statistics, how many people were affected, and those who, we know some cases of those who were deaf through the shots. Were they compensated? What is the status currently? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
My name is Brenda from Citizen TV. My question is in regards to the Shakahola incident. You have told us that you carried out your own investigation, you released a report, and from what you know is that about 10% of the bodies that were recovered from the sites of the massacre have been identified and released to their families for proper burial. My question then goes to what about the other bodies that are yet to be identified? The families have been really complaining. What is the commission really doing to help them, aside from just telling us that 10% have, been intact?
Okay, any other question? Okay, one more there. Yes.
Just a quick one. My name is Mercedes from Spain International Agency, and I just want to ask you if you have any figure of the femicides. We are talking about it's increasing, but do you have a figure of it?
Okay, thank you. So you see, I'll come back to you.
Okay. Thank you. The question by Brenda from Professor.
The figures we have from the National Police Service is 97 in 90 days. 97 in 90 days. Shakahola, 448 bodies that have been recovered, less than 10% identified and released to their loved ones for interment, consistent with their cultural and religious beliefs, is very low. The process of identification of bodies involves forensics, particularly DNA sampling from the bodies and also from close relatives. There was a call that persons whose loved ones were missing and they had reason to believe that they are in Shakahola should provide samples. This process is going on through the government chemists. Unfortunately, the matches have been very few. But also, we have called as a commission for resources to be availed to various agencies, including the government chemists. The reagents, particularly for DNA profiling, are fairly expensive. And these had not been factored in the budget of the government chemists, they tell us, because they had not anticipated this magnitude of work. So we are calling upon the Parliament as well as Treasury to release funding to all agencies involved, particularly the government chemists, to be able to continue with generating profiles from the remains and from the loved ones. We also call upon communities to provide samples, because at times the samples that were provided did not match. However, we know that there are degrees of relatedness. For example, if there is a body and the person goes and claims that this person is their brother, we note that there are cases of unacknowledged paternity, where this may actually not be the full brother but a half brother, and therefore there will be no hit. However, with expanding and increasing the scope of the samples that are provided by more relatives, we will increase the hits. So once again, we are calling on release of funding and resources to the various agencies that are involved. We also know that continued preservation of these bodies is costing money. We also know that the trauma and the psychological impact of having loved ones that are missing continues with the families, communities, and Kenyans as a whole. Thank you very much.
Just a follow-up to that. Are you in a position to tell us perhaps just how much money is needed to speed up that DNA profiling? Or what is the deficit?
I think that question would be better be answered by that agency that is required.
So at this point, do we have any of that happening, or do we have a halt in that process?
That again, it would better be answered by that agency. What we know as a commission is that they have been asking for more resources to be able to meet the demand of the work that they have, because this was not initially anticipated in their annual budget and the negotiations. We are asking that this be considered as a serious emergency that requires additional funding. And we also believe that this funding, the government chemist, is under the Ministry of Interior, and we know the Ministry of Interior has a large budget that they prioritize this. I also want to add what my colleague said, that there may not be any connection between abductions and politics, a direct relationship, but we have noted a trend that the people who are abducted were either very vocal during the protests, or people who were active in civil society, or human rights defenders. But we cannot say that there is that direct relationship, but there is that trend and that observation. Human rights defenders, people who are vocal during demonstrations, and people who are believed to be involved in planning for demonstrations. Thank you.